Hello there, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Ultimate Comics Podcast. My name is Nabeel Gaber, and I'm one of your hosts.
I'm Josh, the other host.
And this is the podcast where we talk about Ultimate Marvel, an imprint of Marvel Comics that began in the year 2000, mainly just to modernize and reimagine Marvel and its characters for the 21st century. So Marvel started this whole Ultimate imprint with titles like Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Fantastic Four. You get the idea. Josh and I, every episode, or most episodes, will read a handful of issues from the Ultimate Comics. We'll talk about what we like, what we might not like so much, what works, what maybe hasn't held up so well, and just generally the impact that these comics have on Marvel in comics and beyond, including like movies, TV shows, animation, etc. So this episode is a very fun one. I've been looking forward to this for a while. We're talking about the Ultimate Hulk versus Wolverine 6-issue miniseries. This was written by Damon Lindelof, who, for those of you who aren't familiar, he's very famous actually in the TV world. He is the showrunner and creator for series like Lost, The Leftovers, the HBO Watchmen series, and the upcoming Lanterns series as well. So it's pretty exciting that he got to write a comic way back when that we can talk about now.
So pretty soon we're gonna come back to him because I'm guessing I think we will end up doing a Lanterns retrospective after the show's done.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain since we usually end up doing reviews on like series and movies that are comic book related on the podcast. So I'm sure we'll do a Lanterns review once that comes out and once it's all wrapped up.
Coming soon, Spider-Man Noir and the CW review.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I still need to watch Spider-Man Noir. Josh, you've seen a few episodes of Spider-Man Noir.
I've seen a few episodes. Great show. It actually makes me think we should actually do a Spider-Man Noir comic and maybe even a Marvel Noir comic retrospective too.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult with Spider-Man Noir as a comic just because they are still making new series, new issues and arcs for that comic series in the way they're not with the rest of Marvel Noir.
Yeah, because the characters gained more popularity because of the Spider-Verse movies, and there's been like a resurgence in Spider-Man Noir's popularity, specifically that character, rather than the whole Noir universe. They're not doing like more Luke Cage Noir or X-Men Noir.
X-Men Noir is a very interesting take on it. Everything you make fun of, like we make fun of Ultimate Marvel for, is just done a slightly differently in X-Men Noir.
Mhm.
And it just reads a bit better just because it is so radically different. And also, like, Spider-Man Noir is such a Batman-esque character in the Marvel Noir series.
Definitely, yeah. I read the original Spider-Man Noir comics, and yeah, it is darker for sure, and he does feel, like you're saying, Josh, more Batman-esque. I mainly remember the Spider-Man Noir character, too, from the Shattered Dimensions, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions video game, where you can play as Spider-Man Noir, and yeah, it's black and white, and he's doing mainly, like, stealth missions and going up against enemies like the Vulture and Hammerhead and Green Goblin and everyone.
Yeah, and it's like a very Batman-esque game. It's a little bit, it's like like you said, sneaking around. You're grabbing people through the webs, and in the comic, he's not afraid to just grab a gun and shoot a guy if it comes down to it.
Yeah, he's very different from the Spider-Man, like the Peter Parker we know and love from the main universe and from like the classic interpretations of the character. But unfortunately, we're not here to talk about that today. So just
you're right.
Keep your eyes open, eyes peeled for our Spider-Man Noir review coming soon once we've watched the whole series and can talk about it. Then we'll get very deep into the Spider-Man Noir lore.
Oh yeah, and it stars Nick Cage.
Yes, Nick Cage, who I love.
We all love Nick Cage.
Yeah, who doesn't?
And he loves us.
I hope he does. Anyways, he's doing well because of the fans anyways, so I hope there's a little bit of love there for the money and the fame. But yeah, this series we're talking about, Ultimate Hulk versus Wolverine, very special, like I said, because it's written by such a famous TV executive and showrunner. Like, he's a big name in the world of television. He was a big comic fan too and really wanted to write a comic. So I think he talked to Joe Quesada, who was the editor-in-chief at Marvel at the time, and they found a way to make it work. So this is a 6-issue miniseries, Ultimate Hulk versus Wolverine, with art by Leniel Francis Yu, who's a quality artist who I think is doing some of the best work in his career at this point. He's worked on series like Superman Birthright with Mark Waid, or New Avengers, Secret Invasion with Brian Michael Bendis. Did some quality work there, did some really good stuff on Wolverine and X-Men. So it's a pretty fun series. I mean, Josh, what do you think of these issues?
I like them. It's fun. You get all the classic hits in. It is very dated. You can tell it's written in the 2000s. A lot of
Yeah.
the tropes we don't like from the 2000s are unfortunately still here. A lot like the sexualization of characters that isn't really necessary, and of course, the characterization of the Hulk is a bit problematic here. You and I aren't the biggest fan of it, but generally gets most of like the fun stuff of Hulk versus Wolverine story down for the readers.
Yeah, I mean, Hulk and Wolverine in the Ultimate Universe are two characters who have honestly been given like really shitty personalities and have made like the worst versions of themselves, I feel like, in this universe
Yeah,
already. So the bar was pretty low. When I read these issues, I was like, you know what? I was already expecting these two to be like absolute scumbags. So like I was pleasantly surprised that this isn't the worst they've been depicted in the
yeah.
Ultimate Universe, but this series is also crazy. Yeah, this is insanity.
To be fair, Wolverine is not a scumbag in this one. He's just kind of stupid.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about here in these issues. It's crazy. What's also crazy is that famously or infamously, this series was met with like a major delay between the second and third issue. Like it was originally meant to be a bi monthly series, but after the second issue, Damon Lindelof, bless him, could not meet his deadlines because he was also working on little known shows like Lost, for example. So he had a lot going on and so could not meet the deadline for the third issue, ultimately leading it to be delayed like 3 years. The second issue came out in like 2006, and then the third issue was delayed for like 3 years until
Ooh,
2009. So yeah, there's also a reason this series is well known. It's a little infamous for that delay, for those who remember, but there's also a couple more moments and things that it is famous slash infamous for.
I will say, waiting 2 years for this series to be finished is like a pain, just because so much happens at once. It's honestly something you could just read in one setting and have fun with. Spacing this out is not fun.
It's a fun, action oriented fighting series of issue between Wolverine and the Hulk. So it's very enjoyable for that reason. It's not like
Yeah.
anything groundbreaking, but it's very fun to read. And the art is gorgeous too. So
Yeah, I will say then and now, like art's great. I don't like the way they draw the Hulk, like because I don't really like the way Hulk's drawn in the Ultimate Universe. It just seems a little too different in a way that's a little uncomfortable for a
yeah,
fan.
like he's a little too monstrous, maybe.
Not monsters. It's just like if I could see him wearing a man bun, and we all know what people think of men who wear man buns.
Yeah, what do they think of them?
You know, they're just like there's just something too choppy about them. There's something wrong with them.
You mean like Paul? May he rest in
Yes, like
peace.
you did not say that when we last talked about Paul. You're like, I'm glad that fucker's dead.
I mean, yeah, two things can be true. I'm glad he's dead. May he rest in peace. God
Look,
rest his soul.
his coming back, he's in the MCU, and everyone's happy about it.
We don't know for sure that that dude is named Paul in the trailer
We
for
all
Spider-Man
know
Brand New Day.
when Brand New Day happens, and Zendaya and Jay goes like, "Hey, I just met you, Peter. This is my boyfriend, Paul." The whole theater's gonna clap and cheer.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. It's going to be like everyone is dead silent, does not care, and it's going to be you doing a standing ovation and applauding when Paul is
No,
revealed to the MCU and makes his
we
debut.
all know the nerds who come to see Spider-Man when it comes out, like premiere or whatever. They all are going to be nerds who go like, "I know who Paul is, the worst ever." But the instant you see Paul on screen, you're all gonna. It's what Ryan Reynolds did to himself for Deadpool will happen with Paul.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has that much love and dedication to the character of Paul that Ryan Reynolds had for Deadpool.
Well, people used to hate Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, and then
Who
you
hated
know,
Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool?
in the original Wolverine movie.
That wasn't his fault though. They hated like what they did to Deadpool at the end of that movie when they sewed his
Yeah,
mouth shut.
and people were like, "We need to replace Ryan Reynolds if they ever redo Deadpool." And then
No,
everyone was like,
everyone
"He is."
loved Ryan Reynolds in the opening of that movie when it was just Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson. No one ever said that they needed to replace Ryan
I
Reynolds as
saw
Deadpool.
the Ryan Reynolds scenes as Deadpool, and I just found them annoying.
Well, that was just you, buddy. You were not in the like majority there.
I'll say this. Well, I'll give them. I'll give the writers credit. They did do that movie with no writers somehow. So
Listen, the 2007 writer's strike was the time. Anyways, let's just get started with these issues, shall we, Josh?
mm-hmm.
All right, the first issue of Ultimate Hulk versus Wolverine starts out. This is a pretty like attention-grabbing opener, honestly. It opens up with Wolverine like regaining consciousness. He's like bloodied and like in the snow. He's like, what the hell happened? And the next page is like cuts to 3.5 minutes ago. And this is probably the most famous page of this entire series, which is Hulk ripping Wolverine in half. Like it's a double page spread. This is like so iconic and memorable. Like everyone knows about it. I feel like who has read Marvel comics for the most part. Like it's so famous. Like years before I even read this series or knew what it was, I was like, yeah, that moment in the Ultimate Universe when Hulk rips Wolverine in half. So this is a big deal. It's also like crazy because I don't think this could happen to main universe Wolverine if he's
Well,
supposed to be like indestructible, and like I don't know how this would work with his adamantium skeleton ripping him in half.
I feel as far as characters that could rip Wolverine in half, Hulk would be one of them.
Yeah.
And if I was Hulk, I wouldn't really feel guilty about it just because he's gonna grow back.
That's true. I don't think Hulk feels guilty about this at all, though.
Yeah.
Let's be fair.
I feel 616 Hulk wouldn't even feel guilty about it. He goes, "You grow back."
Yeah, it's like he'll be fine. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think this is, and he's gonna recover from this.
And look, yes, he has an adamantium skeleton. His skin is an adamantium. And also, to put the adamantium in him, you need to have cut up the adamantium somehow at one point. So someone
Yeah,
is strong enough to cut through it.
I guess Hulk got angry enough and thus strong enough to rip adamantium in half. So
I
kudos.
mean, it's just bone. I'm not gonna say it's nothing, but it's like if you melt all the adamantium in Wolverine down, you might get 1 bar, maybe 2 or 3 at most.
Still, that's impressive. That should be impossible.
Yeah.
But this is comics, so this should all be impossible. Anyways, yeah, but the Hulk, I also want to note, is like swagged out in this. Like he's wearing like beads around his neck. He's got like a nice robe on the bottom half of his body. He's still not wearing a shirt, but like he looks
It's
pretty
the
chill. He looks, yeah, swagged out for sure.
they're the clothes and necklaces he's wearing in the Planet Hulk movie, the Thor Ragnarok movie.
That's true, yeah, when he's just like hanging out after
Yeah.
the gladiatorial matches in Thor Ragnarok.
And they explain where he's getting the clothes later on, which is honestly also kind of weird.
Yeah, no, we'll get into that. A lot of this
Yeah.
does happen out of sequence, which is very fun as you get to
Yeah.
find out and like piece together how all this happens. Like Logan's like wondering why it's happening or how any of this happened. And then he's like trying to find his legs and he's like, I can actually smell my legs 4 miles away. He threw my legs 4 miles away.
In Ultimate Marvel, it seems Wolverine cannot regenerate lost limbs. He actually has to find them and reattach them.
Yeah, because at the same time, like, those are the ones coated in adamantium. He can't regrow adamantium. It's not like part of his, it's coating his bones. It's not like in his bones.
So if I cut off his pinky and I eat the pinky, he's gonna have to like have this. He's gonna regrow a pinky that just is lacking adamantium.
Have fun eating adamantium. That sounds awful. I don't think
Well,
you'd be able to.
You'll pop it out if it's something as small as a pinky through
That
the
would
other
be
end.
so painful. That's worse than passing a kidney stone, my guy.
Well, the kidney stone comes through your manhole. This is coming through the bunghole, so it's a little easier, right?
Yeah, you're gonna die. You're gonna like have some serious internal bleeding, man.
Do you remember as a kid we're playing those Would You Rather games that you could buy in a book? And one of the questions was, would you rather poop triangles or pyramids?
I don't remember that.
Well, now you know. You can ask that if you're ever invited to like a dinner with like family or friends, you could go like, would you rather poop a triangle or cubes?
Yeah, that's the scintillating dinner conversation I'm gonna bring to the party.
Yeah.
But yes, Wolverine's smelling his legs. Not only are they 4 miles away, they're 4 miles up. So he's got to, like, with no lower half of his body, he's like literally using his claws to like climb up this mountain to get to them.
I gotta climb before my body regrows and my legs just don't have adamantium and they're supporting an adamantium torso.
Yeah, like it's insane. I'm like, damn, mad respect. You're tough as nails. It's just like a head, arms, and a torso just crawling up this mountain. And we flash back to Logan meeting Nick Fury before this.
Yeah, in Harlem.
Yeah, sitting in an office in Harlem that Fury has, away from the Triskelion, asking Fury, like, what's this about? Since, like, I've never met you in, like, Harlem or anything. Why are we away from, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything?
Yeah. And Nick Fury wants something done privately because we'll find out why.
Yeah.
But you can't let people know that he fucked up for once.
Yeah. This is really funny too, because he's like trying to ease Logan into it, and Logan's just trying to cut through the bullshit. And he's like, all right, what do you want from me? Because Fury is like, you like this painting here? And Logan's like, yeah, I can smell 2 women behind this painting, like in the room. Like, I can smell their perfume. I can smell one of them, like, sucking on an Altoid. Like, what's going on here, really?
It's also a real painting. It's a medieval painting of heaven and hell.
Yeah, which is cool. It's very classy. But then
Yeah.
emerging from behind the painting, you get Betty Ross and Jennifer Walters, who in the main universe is She-Hulk, also Bruce
And
Banner's cousin.
in this one, she is not a lawyer. She's a scientist for Shield. Because I think like Marvel already does a thing where everyone's a scientist. DC kind
Yeah,
of does it too. But at this point in time, remember, if you watch TV, everyone's a scientist. Everyone's
yeah.
like, I'm a special ops commando and a scientist, and I'm like,
No, exactly,
okay.
yeah.
It's like you could do both, but you can only do one at a time. Just saying.
Yeah.
Very few people are both, and also like I think this is before AI took over, and everyone's like maybe we needed more humanity majors all along. So
I think it's crazy. Yeah, everyone had to be a scientist. It really
yeah,
changes things. So she's not the Jennifer Walters we know. Not really. She's not a lawyer.
yeah, she's a sexy scientist.
Yes, then there is a lot of sexualization of Jennifer Walters that we will see as we go on in these stories.
The first scene of her is like her cleavage is out, and Betty is just staring at them.
Yeah, like it's a lot.
Yeah,
Fury is taking Wolverine along with Betty and Jennifer to this lab where he's like showing them like body parts of the Hulk that they just have in jars. And Betty is like talking to Fury, being like, how can you trust this animal here? Like, really? And Fury's like, hey, sit down, all right? Like,
yeah,
he's here for a reason. Like, drop it.
yeah. And Logan does ask like, didn't you like nuke this guy? And Fury goes, yeah, but we don't think it worked.
Yeah, because as some of you listeners will recall from our Ultimates 2 episodes, the Hulk was executed by means of nuclear explosion. That was like the only way they feel like they could have executed Bruce Banner and made sure he was dead. But Fury's like, we picked up a bunch of Hulk DNA recently. We found this yesterday because he's talking about a bunch of incidents that happened. Like there was like a bombing in Paris, but no evidence of a bomb was found. In
And
Ireland, a bunch of cattle were massacred.
Eaton.
Yeah, eaten and massacred. This was just chalked up to like wolves. And there was an earthquake in India with no fault line activity at all and no aftershocks.
Yeah.
So Fury's like, given all this evidence, it feels like he's out there somewhere.
I also would go like, hey, if this guy could take a nuke, I don't think Wolverine could finish the job.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think anything can finish the job if he can't get nuked out of existence. Like, that's crazy. They're just like, we got to try everything and anything at this point.
I say we should do what they do in 616, send him to another planet. He'll have fun there.
Yeah, but they were like, it feels derivative now. It was too current with mainline Marvel, like Planet
Yeah.
Hulk and World War Hulk, so they're like, we got to do something different.
Logan goes, hey, does anyone in government know? And Fury goes, he goes like, oh, you're gonna get fired if people find out you didn't kill the Hulk.
Yeah, Wolverine's like laughing. He's like, oh, you just need me to save your job. That's really what's it. All right.
Yeah.
Because Fury's like, yeah, I want you to find the Hulk and kill him. And Logan's like, you know what? This'll be fun. Like, I'll do it.
And Fury goes, no bribe, no money, no like extra memories. Which I'm surprised by. I feel Wolverine at this point, ultimately Wolverine, if you offered him his memories back, he would take it, even if he's doing this for fun, as he says.
Yeah, I think the thing, though, about Wolverine fighting the Hulk is that it's always just about the love of the game.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? Yeah, I'll fight the Hulk just because I can. I have something that I want to prove. I want to, like, carve the shit out of this giant monster.
Yeah, but, like, I'll do some things for free, but if you offer me $750 to do it, I'll take it.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't turn that down in addition to the fun I'll have on this job.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do things for free, kids, all right?
Yeah.
Always take a little extra something, something. If you can profit, profit.
As Heath Ledger Joker said, never do something you're good at for free.
Exactly. Amen. R.I.P.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great actor. We're sorry.
Yes, iconic performance.
Yeah. Everyone hated him at the beginning, and they found out we were wrong. He was too good at the job.
Yeah, don't judge a casting choice until you see the performance.
I know. Timothy Chalamet is going to be like the next Joker or something. We're just going to be blown away by his performance.
I'm sick of him. Anyways.
Yeah, we all are.
Then Nick Fury is telling Wolverine where they found the Hulk DNA, and they said it was in Tibet. So that's
It's
where he's
poop.
heading. It's poop. Yeah, he's like, we found the poop in Tibet.
There's no indication that Hulk poop is different from human poop is the problem, but...
Well, it was Bruce Banner's DNA. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
And then Wolverine is like with Jennifer Walters, and Jen gives Logan like a sample of the serum that was in Bruce's veins just to smell so he can like catch his scent and track him later. And I gotta say, there's a lot of weird vibes going on here between Jen and Logan. Like we mentioned earlier, there is a good deal of sexualization going on in the artwork here for Jen. Like she's reaching into her bra to get stuff, which is like, all
Yeah.
right, that's not uncommon. Women have kept stuff in their bra before, but like there's like a shot of like she's all caked up as she's like reaching for something. There's like a very glaring shot of her butt as she's reaching to get things. Like she's given Logan some like really horny looks too.
You can see her bra. You can see her grabbing crap out of it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this is pretty cheesecakey. This is a little much. She also does seem to be weirdly into Wolverine because she's like, yeah, I'd love for you to come in so I can scan you. I was like, okay, all right, keep it in your pants, Walters. My God.
And to be fair, they do use that line. Not for Jen, but they use it later. But
They
it's like a
do,
very
yeah.
2000s thing where, like, yeah, sexualization happens now, but, like, in the 2000s, like, for comics and sci-fi, it was just taken to a whole new level.
Yeah, like it's a lot with like the sexy scientist trope. I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Wolverine is takes her stuff, they scan, whatever that means. But also, I'm
Yeah,
like, Wolverine, what about Storm? Though I guess Jennifer is a bit more age appropriate, so,
yeah, that's true. He's also
Yeah.
just a hoe too, so.
Yeah. Spreading them Wolverine diseases, those mutant STDs.
Yeah, the little Wolverines.
Yeah.
We cut to Tibet, where we find Wolverine has found his way to a bar, which is just classic Logan. And
Yeah.
he's like wondering why there are no girls there, which will be important later on in this issue.
Yeah.
And so we see Wolverine tracking a guy making his way into the mountains to like a temple, like a Buddhist temple. And there's a splash page as soon as Wolverine opens the door to this temple. This is where it gets truly insane. And this is the first issue, mind you, out of 6. It's a splash page of Hulk surrounded by a whole harem of women, like in their underwear. This is
And
insane.
some of them are naked.
This is unhinged. Like I had heard about this, but I was shocked to see this is the first issue, guys. We
Yeah.
have like 5 more issues after this.
And it's also such a weird trope of like, first of all, Hulk's this massive monster. Like, why is it to the point that all the women in the village came after him?
I don't even want to know, man. There are some questions that I just don't need answered about like why all these women are flocking to the Hulk. How does
It's
that
all
even I don't want to know, man.
it's also such a problematic trope of like, I know Hulk's not a white guy. Bruce Banner is, but Hulk's like barely even a human. If he is a human still, it's like this something from like the West comes to Asia and seduces all the women. That's such a and gets a
Yeah,
harem. It's a trope I don't like.
there are a couple of Orientalist tropes, especially going into this next issue that we find that
Yeah,
are pretty problematic.
yeah.
But the first issue ends with Wolverine going, "Hi, Bruce," and he pops his claws, and that's it. And then what's really fun about this series, too, is it cuts to different people's perspectives, which is fun. So, like, this first issue was Wolverine's point of view. This second issue now, we get to see things from Bruce Banner's point of view. So the second issue starts with Bruce like moments before his execution in the Ultimates, where like he's on the helicarrier and the bomb's like about to go off, and his inner monologue is just him thinking about all his victims, the people he killed in New York, and like over 800, and like the children he killed, and
Like
he's
60
thinking,
or 13 children or something.
yeah, like children under the age of 13. I think it was like 60 something that were under
Yeah.
the age of 13. And he's thinking about how he deserves to die. But then right before the bomb goes off, he hulks out. And you see like the Hulk just like jumping out of the explosion. And he lands in the ocean and he's like angry about getting blown up as the Hulk. Like he's like, but he tried to blow Hulk up. And he's very childlike, simple Hulk. He sees a whale too and he's thinking, ooh, fishy.
I interpreted that art of the bomb explosion exploded. Hulk survives the explosion and is sent fleeing into the sky by the
Yes.
explosion. That's what I
Yeah.
always saw. Not that he jumped out.
Right, right. He was flung from the explosion.
Yeah.
The Hulk lands on Omaha Beach as Banner, where there's like an old man with this guy, this kid talking about how kids don't know war anymore and all this stuff as they're like at the World War II memorial. And then 1 month later, after a naked Bruce Banner lands on Omaha Beach, he's in Paris and he's in a therapy session as David.
David Banner.
Yeah, which is a reference to in the 1970s, 80s, like Incredible Hulk stuff with Lou Ferrigno. Like his name was David Banner for whatever reason. So it's a fun little Easter egg there.
That's a classic show, and they just painted the dude green, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. before CGI was really a thing. They were just like, let's just find a really muscular guy and paint him green.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? It worked. Lou Ferrigno, ripped as hell.
And the therapist is talking about like you're mad at someone, like you keep calling her, and he goes, "I'm not angry," because she doesn't know that the reason he's saying he's not angry, so he doesn't summon the green beast back.
Yeah, he's like in full denial mode. And this therapist is like poking and prodding at him, which, if you know your patient is the Hulk, probably not the best idea.
But I don't think she does, to be
Yeah,
fair.
well, she will soon. If she doesn't know now, because he's talking about how he keeps calling Betty and hanging up because he's scared and he doesn't know what to say. And she's like, "Oh, you're angry at her." And he's like, "I'm not angry. I'm not angry." And she's like, "What are you afraid of?" And then, like, the last thing she asks before things go terribly wrong is like, "Are you afraid that Betty's gonna be mad at you and she's gonna call you impotent?" And this is such a funny last thing to say, because then he hulks out. He like throws the couch out of the apartment building, like destroys the building, and he's screaming like, "Hulk, no, impotent," which is hilarious.
I mean, we know it's big. It showed Freddie Prinze Jr.
I mean, also based on like the harem of women from the first issue, clearly he had something to prove. He was like, damn, he took this to heart. And he was like, I'm going to show that therapist I'm not impotent at all. It's insane.
A month later, he's working on a sheep or a cow farm in Ireland. People are making fun of him because he's vegan and he likes what was it? Tofurkey? What? I can't pronounce that. That sounds disgusting. Turkey is already disgusting. I only eat turkey because I want revenge on the turkey that attacked me, but as a kid. But
I like turkey. I can't believe that's a hot take, but also crazy lore that you were attacked by a turkey as a kid.
The only reason to eat turkey is turkey bacon,
I love turkey bacon, yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, and also if you can't have pork for various reasons, turkey bacon tastes exactly the same. I personally can't tell the difference. PSA for turkey. But I find the regular turkey meat disgusting. It's like,
wow, that's a hot take.
Yeah, I'm like, it's disgusting, and also puts you to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
tryptophan, yeah.
Yeah, they make fun of him eating tofurkey.
Yeah.
Tofurkey. So he hulks out, says like tofurkey not funny. Well, he eats all the cows.
Yes, which is really funny because Banner's saying he's eating tofurkey because he's vegan, but this is not vegan at all. Like, that's not vegan Hulk. Hulk's like, Banner's vegan, I'm gonna be a carnivore.
Well, we know he eats people, so, why not? This is actually a step up.
Banner's really just trying to compensate for something. He's like, the Hulk eats people, I'm gonna go full vegan. And it's really funny, too, because they call him Bixby, like Bill Bixby, the guy who played Banner in the Hulk TV show. Again, a reference to the show, so it's really funny.
This is a showrunner, so why not?
Yeah. Well, this also just has the vibes, too, I feel like, of that show where he's like a wandering stranger who's trying to just stay off the grid and stay isolated and keep himself from hulking out, but inevitably failing.
Yeah, and I think the Hulk in movies have like gone that route too.
Yeah, like the 2008 like Incredible Hulk movie, that kind of feeling.
Or the 90s version, if it was the 90s, where it ends with him in Brazil.
Well, that's the 2008 one that starts with him in Brazil anyways.
Which was the one with Edward Norton?
That's the 2008 movie, yeah.
But the one before that, the Universal movie, ends with him in Brazil.
Oh, okay, the Ang Lee Hulk movie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was Ang Lee. I forget.
That's right. But 1 month later, Bruce is in India and he tries to call Betty again, but he hears a man on the other end, which then pisses him off yet again. And he hulks out. And so, like, it's really funny, like, we're getting, like, all these different moments that show you, in hindsight, all these different incidents that Fury was describing to Wolverine in the first issue. We get to see them happen now, which is fun. So, yeah, then 1 month later, he finds himself in Tibet, and he's greeted at the door by a monk, and he says he's looking for the Panchen Lama to cure him of his anger.
It's a real person, by the way, the Panchen Lama, fun fact.
Yes, this is a very real thing and a very real person, so it's pretty funny how they're like trying that in.
He's been missing since the 90s, so.
I had no idea.
Yeah, the Panchen Lama is, actually the comic gets it correct, he's the guy who's supposed to look for the Dalai Lama, but he's been disappeared like a while back.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, we actually have no idea where he is.
Yeah.
So. He might be dead.
I hope we will find him one day.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, in a really grim way, no.
Dang, that's rough.
Yeah. He wants to be cured of his anger, which, he's good on him. He's been trying.
Yeah, I don't know how realistic that is, but at least it's a good goal just to fully cure yourself of anger. I don't know if you can do that, but
Yeah.
it's a really fun moment where he like talks to the monk who answers the door and he's like, "Oh, is this like a Yoda thing where you talk about the pension llama, but you're the pension llama?" And the guy's like, "No, my name's Steve." Like I'm not him. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. They meet the actual pension llama, who is a kid. I have a problem with that because the pension llama, I looked him up, the real one was born in 1987 or 89. This was
Mhm.
written in like 2005. So
Yeah.
he's a bit more than a, he should theoretically be a bit more than a kid,
Right, like
theoretically.
early 20s probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Late teens maybe. So yeah,
Hmm.
they make him really young in this. He is like a very young kid and he's like, "Do you know how like we find the Dalai Lama?" And like what my job is, and he's like, "Yeah, you find the next Dalai Lama and the Dalai Lama is responsible for finding the pension llama." And the guy's like, "Yeah, it's like the Western saying of like the chicken and the egg,
Yeah.
which came first." And
And
he's like, "Yeah, it's very much like your thing with the Hulk." And he's like, "You know who I am?" And the pension llama's like, "Yeah, like the guy who gave you the map to come here, like he also ran your fingerprints through Interpol and called me on my cell phone about it because like this is still the 21st century. Like we still have technology, even though we're like monks, we're up here in the mountains.
yeah.
We still use science and technology, which is very fun. And they
Yeah.
talk about how Bruce like doesn't want to be the Hulk anymore. And there's also a fun jab at like, is it green skinned? Is it gray skin? Like just a fun reference to the fact that his skin color does keep changing in the Ultimate Comics for no real reason at all.
I believe in 616 when he was originally published, he was gray as well, and they changed it to green because they didn't want to pay for the gray ink.
Yeah, just because it was like too much trouble to print. Like printing like gray was like so difficult. Like green was so much easier to print.
Especially because black ink would get you already are make using a lot of black ink for the lettering and the bubbles, the speech bubbles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
and the pension llama, this fictional version of the pension llama, asks him like, "What if it's the chicken and the egg for you and the Hulk? The Hulk is you're not just turning into the Hulk. The Hulk turns into you."
yes, yeah, exactly. So
Hmm.
it's an interesting question he poses. And then we get to 1 month later at the end of issue one, same thing as the end of this issue, where Logan confronts the Hulk in this like mountain in this temple. And the Hulk is actually quite articulate now. And he's like, "Hello, Logan. Would you care for some hot cocoa?" And I'm like, "Hold up. What?"
Yeah. Also, what happened to all the monks? Did you eat all of them? Is
Yeah.
that why the pension llama in real life is missing? Did you eat
Yeah.
them?
Yeah. Are you responsible for that? Hulk, what did you do to the pension llama?
You destroyed the Tibetan government. It's
Oh
never
my
coming back.
gosh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, I could
Yeah.
see that happening.
Yeah.
Which is these two issues on their own are so crazy. It's wild that there was like a 3 year delay between this and the third issue.
Yeah.
So like the third issue does start with just a splash page recapping the past two issues, probably because like it's been a while and you've got to like keep it fresh in the mind. So it's just a splash page of moments from the past couple of issues.
I cannot imagine reading this like with ears in between.
Yeah, at that point, I would have moved on with my life. Like 3 years, I would have been like, I wasn't that excited, I'll be honest. No
It's
offense. Like, this is a fun story, but it's not something I'd be like, I have to know what happens next.
it's like you have a friend who texts back like once every 3 months, and you go like, "What do you want? Hey, I'm at this restaurant. What do you want for food?" And he texts back 3 months later, "Hey, did you get the steak?" And I'm like, "No, we're not at the
Yeah,
restaurant
yeah,
anymore. We haven't been in
yeah.
the same city for like months. What are you
It's
talking
been
about?"
done for a while now. Yeah, like I've moved
Yeah,
on with my life. Like I have not thought about this in a while.
yeah, and it gets worse because you know for a fact that friend you've done that to multiple times. You go like, "Do you want some food? I'm at the pizza place. What do you want?"
Yeah.
3 months later, it's like I can't keep doing this, man.
Yeah, like I got what I needed. Like you should have told me what you wanted months ago.
After this recording, I gotta tell you about some of those roommates I've had who are like this.
Man, I can't wait.
Yeah,
But yeah, the narrator is like, "I'm just gonna hand it over to Logan," which is really funny. And he's like, "Forgive,
yeah,
like, if it's a little jumbled, but this guy's had his memory erased like multiple times," which is very true. So that's pretty funny. So that does
yeah.
explain kind of like the non-linear storytelling, I should say, in this.
We see a bit of the future, like him fighting a panda is the weirdest one that I did not
Yeah,
expect,
yeah.
but
Yeah, that's crazy. We'll get more into that when that time comes, but that's one thing we get. We get one of him like fighting Banner in like the sky and Banner's yelling, "Do it!" then we cut to like the Hulk and Wolverine after like Hulk has ripped Wolverine in half and there's a mysterious figure standing over them. And then we cut to the moments right after like Hulk has ripped Wolverine in half and Wolverine's found his legs, but Hulk is holding them and he's like, "All right, which one of these legs do you want me to eat?" And Wolverine's like, no one plays poker against me or Xavier for that matter because we both know when people are bluffing. And I'll tell you right now, the Hulk was not bluffing here. He's 1,000% gonna eat my legs.
He says I'm not bluffing, but also Hulk makes a good defense. He says, "Look, if I don't eat your legs, you're gonna reattach them and come after me. Out of self-defense, I must eat your legs," and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. He's like, it's only reasonable. Like, I don't want you pursuing me any further. Like, you can tell,
Yeah,
like, there is, like, a merged, like, Hulk and Banner thing going on here, where he's super
yeah,
strong and gets really angry, but he's also got a lot of intelligence from Banner here.
yeah. All that
And
Tai Chi and well, not Tai Chi, but Tibetan meditation has helped.
yeah, somehow. I wish we actually got to see more of that because I feel like we didn't really get to see much of him just like learning to cooperate between Banner and Hulk.
Especially
But
because he's wearing all the Tibetan monk getup. All the
yeah,
monks are gone, and is banging the one thing they're not supposed to do.
yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. But
So
also, I'm like, yeah, I do that too, Logan. If you come after me and I cut your leg off, I'm eating it so you don't come back.
yeah, and Wolverine's like, if there's just like a stump, I'm gonna like find a tree stump and put it in one of my legs to keep chasing you. And
Mhm.
Hulk has this nice moment where he's like, Logan, I like talking to you. Like you're plucky. Like so he's got this like admiration for him, or he's like finds Wolverine endearing.
Yeah.
And then right above them, there's like a loud sonic boom and we don't know what it is yet, but it cuts back to earlier before Wolverine got ripped in half. It's Hulk like tossing Logan through the trees and like beating the crap out of him. And so we have to cut even further back. There's a lot of like, wait, we have to go back moments, like freeze frames in these where record scratch.
It's because like, and Logan goes like, "Oh, he wasn't angry this whole time. I had to piss him off, and it took a while to piss him off. But once you pissed him off, he was pissed."
Yeah, so then we finally get to like that moment at the end of the first and second issue where Wolverine confronts the Hulk in the temple, and Hulk is like, "Logan, you seem surprised." And Logan's sarcastically like, "Well, it's a giant monster with a bunch of naked chicks in the middle of nowhere. Like, not surprised at all. No, not really."
Yeah, and Hulk goes like, "You're an animal," and Logan goes, "Well, I don't lay eggs." And Hulk goes like, "You mean mammal?" And it's funny because I'm
Yeah.
like Wolverine's a scumbag in the Ultimate Universe. Here, it's like he's just kind of dumb a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, he's kind of a meathead in this. He is really just like a blunt instrument. He's really just there to kill the Hulk without asking any questions and like not the brightest bulb in these issues.
Yeah,
But there's a fun banter and back and forth between Hulk and Wolverine while they're talking. So I like the dialogue here. And
yeah.
Hulk like wants to know why he's there and like Logan's still surprised that like why the Hulk isn't like as dumb as he normally is.
And the Hulk says meditation.
Yeah, he's like, I just stopped being angry. Like, you should try it. Which it's like, again, I would have loved to have seen a little bit more elaboration on that and more of the process there, but it is an interesting poke at the parallels between Hulk and Wolverine. Like Hulk being like,
Yeah,
yeah, maybe you could control your anger a little bit more too. Like you could go down that path a little more. Like
yeah.
he
He,
analyzes like Wolverine's like need for violence. He's like, you're just here to kill me, someone you've never met before.
to cover up the hole in your heart.
Yeah, because he's like, you're compensating for like your lack of identity, of family, of love. And so it's interesting because that's what I like about Hulk and Wolverine, I think, is those parallels between the characters. They're both very tragic characters, I would say, deep down. They're both very sad. There's a lot of torment and pain behind them, and a lot of anger there too that does lead to like their violent urges and tendencies. So I like those similarities.
It also reminds me of Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom, who also went into the comics to the Tibetan mountains and learned meditation and how to
Yeah.
become wise and great leader.
Yeah, and those are also two very parallel characters too, who share
Yeah,
the different paths, but like still. And Hulk tries to poke at Wolverine a little more and say Fury has a file to kill you if Xavier ever stopped protecting you. So he's got orders for like Stark and Rogers to kill you.
they even Banner read.
Yeah, exactly. And Wolverine then starts poking back at Banner, which is also what I love about these characters. They know how to push each other's buttons a
Yeah,
little, and that's why they get into so many fights. They're very similar, but a little too similar. Because Wolverine's like, yeah, well, how about Betty? Like, your girl Betty, she wanted you dead. And the
And,
Hulk, like, starts slipping, speaking in third person a little more, getting a little madder. He's telling Logan to leave, but Logan just keeps poking at him because he can see it's affecting him.
yeah.
And Wolverine's like, you know what? I'll leave, but now that you're like good here, you got your whole harem of women, like maybe I'll take Betty out sometime. And it's like,
And
that's
that
the
does
thing
it.
that got him. Yep, that gets him. Like Hulk then throws him out of the temple, starts beating the crap out of him, rips him in half, and the issue
Oh,
ends at the moment right as that sonic boom is coming right above them. And there's a mystery figure that lands there, and it's She-Hulk. We've seen
yeah.
the issue 3 ends with the arrival of She-Hulk. So these
Ultimate
issues just
She-Hulk.
get crazier and crazier. Yes, this is Ultimate Marvel's introduction to She-Hulk, which is very exciting.
I also will say Hulk does calm himself after he rips Logan in half. He goes back to meditating, which is why Logan realizes Hulk starts speaking a bit slower than usual for a bit
Yeah.
when he starts speaking again. So Hulk is
Yeah.
very disciplined here, surprisingly, in spite of the
Yeah.
fact he loses control.
This is kind of like similar, I feel like, to the more I think about it, like Hulk in the MCU when he becomes Professor Hulk is how he manages to put, as he says, the brains and the brawn together of Banner and Hulk. And again, that's also something where I'm like, dang, that happened off screen. I wish we actually got to see that, how it happened, like on screen, and see the process of that.
I
And
feel for this comic, I agree with you. I don't agree with you for the movies. I feel we've had years and years of development for Bruce and Hulk for
I
the
I
MCU.
wish I saw any kind of development between Infinity War and Endgame where suddenly Hulk and Banner are merged and we just have to accept that it happened off screen. And also, I like this better because in Ultimate Hulk versus Wolverine, we get to see him slipping more and see him like when he loses control. You don't get to see that with like merged Hulk in the MCU.
You saw it in She-Hulk a bit, like one scene in She-Hulk.
Yeah, tiny bit, which is more than we got in any of Endgame, which is one of my gripes with Endgame.
Well, I also feel in the last few Avengers movies, and I just because this I disagree with you. We saw it because in Ragnarok we finally got Banner transforming into the Hulk willingly, and Hulk
Yeah.
refusing to transform into Hulk willingly. So the two of them are finding peace slowly because of the way they're converging in a way.
All right, but we never got to see why Hulk wouldn't come out in Infinity War, and we never really
Because he
got to
just
see
got
a
his butt kicked by
resolution to that.
Thanos. Because he
The
got his butt
Russo
kicked by
brothers
Thanos,
said
and
that
his
wasn't why.
what?
They
Well, they're
said
wrong.
after that, yeah, well, like, we never did find out why Hulk wouldn't come out because they didn't show us shit. Endgame happens, it's like 5 years later. It's fine, we worked it out. But how? We never saw how. How did they work it out?
They worked it out because Hulk refuses to become Hulk, but Bruce is willing to become Hulk. They found peace with each other. They found an understanding. They have become
I
one.
I didn't see any of that.
The Russo
I
brothers are wrong all the time. Just saying,
yeah.
because they don't agree with each other.
That's true. I do think that they're wrong when they say like their Spider-Man didn't have an Uncle Ben, and I was like, "Are you stupid?
Yeah,
You mean
I
you
agree.
removed his entire reason for existing? Dumb."
Well, it's.
Anyways, that's
I
just
guess
my
they
take.
did it with Aunt May. I guess is the Uncle Ben.
Yeah, but like, come on. How did he learn with great power comes great responsibility? It didn't
Well, Aunt
happen
May
till No
tells him
Way
that.
Home? That's crazy. Anyways, back to the comics. Issue 4 opens. This is from Betty's perspective. It starts with Betty post-coital with this new guy.
Who she kicks out of bed.
Yeah, and she's like, do we have to with cuddling? Like, she doesn't like cuddling, which is another red flag for Ultimate Betty. We've had our issues with her in the
Whoa.
Ultimate series. What do you mean you don't like cuddling? That's just messed up.
Oh no! Oh no! Look! Like as far as red flags with Betty is, and by the way Betty is portrayed is also a little off, where she's just naked all the time in the next 3 issues. But
Yeah, there's a lot of shots of her like coming out of the shower and a lot of shots of her just sitting around naked brushing her hair and stuff. And it's a lot. Like again, the women in this series are way sexualized. It's crazy.
yeah, and there's only two of them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's only two of them and you're going to hypersexualize both of them. It's nuts.
Yeah. But also, there's nothing wrong with not liking to cuddle.
I feel it depends on the type of relationship you have. I shouldn't judge, but
It
cuddling
could
is
have
you should
some
have
people
the
have a
decency to
long.
cuddle afterwards, all right? If you're gonna,
No,
don't
it
just
can have a
use people
long,
like
healthy,
that.
and happy relationship. You could, you're in the same bed. and you put like a little block between your space of your part of the bed and her part of the bed.
At that point, like, why are you even sleeping together, man, you know?
Because if you're in a relationship, that's what you do.
No, it's not. You cuddle your
Would you
partner in
rather?
bed. If you're in a serious, especially if you're in a relationship, you cuddle. I don't care.
No,
I don't care what's going on. This is
no,
you're in a
no,
serious
no.
relationship. Cuddling is
What if
important.
you are not a natural person who likes to share a bed, but you are sharing a bed because you're in a relationship and you've matured, but like you put a board between you and her or her and you and
A board, like
a
a
board?
wooden board.
Maybe not a wooden board, but you could put up like a thick pillow between you and her and two
Hey, you know what?
blankets.
That's your relationship. That's your call.
I'm not
Whatever.
in a
I cuddle.
relationship.
I
But look,
cuddle,
look,
and I
you
judge anyone
you
who
have
doesn't.
look. Why are there two pillows in bed, not one? It's because, and some people go, I only sleep on the left side, I only sleep on the right side. And if she only sleeps on the left and you only sleep on the right, or vice versa, what's her business to come onto your side, or your business to come onto her side? It's not the winter; it's summer. You get two blankets, two pillows. It's not one blanket, one pillow. It's two blankets, two pillows.
Damn, that's very pragmatic of you, Josh.
Thank you. It's why you also sleep ass to ass sometimes.
Yeah, like Charlie and
Yes.
Frank and It's Always Sunny. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, but yeah, Betty, while she's in bed, gets this call from India.
While she's in another bang round, as I say.
And it was Bruce, and we know that, and she knows it. So she's like, oh shit, Bruce is alive. And then we cut to the first issue meeting between Wolverine and Nick Fury, but this time it's from her point of view. Like, we're seeing behind the painting with Betty talking to Jen about how, like, I can't believe like we're hiring this animal on, talking about Wolverine. And Jen is like, I don't know, I think he's kind of cute, which is like, she's thirsting after Wolverine, which is crazy.
She's like,
But
he's cute in a way, I'll kill you in a bed kind of cute. Which I
yeah,
get.
yeah, that is Wolverine's animal
That's why
magnetism.
that's why you put the board between you and her.
Unbelievable. If it's
Wow.
Wolverine, I could see that.
That's the other thing. What if she has hair and you don't want to get itchy?
Yeah, I can guarantee I've got more hair. Anyways,
Ew.
but TMI. But yeah, Betty calls out Jen's taste in men, which is really funny because that's a mistake. Because Jen's like, well, at least my man didn't kill 800 people like Bruce. And I'm like, and she's like, you couldn't keep it in your pants, meaning she blames Betty for Bruce losing control.
Because she does bang. Jen says Betty banged Freddie Prinze Jr. just to piss off Bruce.
Which is like, all right, you're kind of like victim blaming here, but also like, she also didn't treat Bruce well, so there's also that. But like, I don't think that warrants turning into a rage monster and, attacking all of New York City.
Yeah, and also like, I don't want to be rude, Jen. You are talking about your relative, your cousin. Kind of fucked
that's
up.
your cousin. Like, come on.
Yeah, you can't
Show
talk
some
about
respect.
your blood that way. Yeah, you can't talk about you gotta draw the line.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, he's a monster, but he's a literal monster, but still.
Still, it's family. But then Jen starts talking to Betty and she's like, I've actually got this idea about like altering the Hulk formula. I want to like use it in a way where people can control it, where you can turn big, green, and strong, but without like being out of control angry. And I'm like,
yeah,
that's She-Hulk. She's literally just talking about creating She-Hulk. Hell yeah.
Is there a canon reason why She-Hulk is more controllable than Hulk?
That's a good question. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I think there might be. But I know in the original comics, Jennifer becomes She-Hulk because her like life is in danger and she gets a blood transfusion from Bruce since they are cousins. And because she gets his blood, like then she becomes She-Hulk. So maybe that's like, I know that might explain why she's not as strong because like she just got like some of his blood. It's not like she was fully doused in gamma rays, but I don't know.
I know in the show it's just because it's a woman and they go like it interacts differently, right?
Yeah. I got to do a little bit more research and get back to you on that one.
But also, Bruce is controlled by then, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. In the MCU, anyways.
Yeah.
Later, we cut to this really fun scene, actually, of Captain America and Iron Man are like playing ping pong, and Forge is there. And Forge in this universe, again, is a member of the Brotherhood, so they've got him in captivity. He's just sitting in the corner with like handcuffs watching them play ping pong, which is so funny.
Yeah. I don't know why. Why would you have your person just watch you play ping pong just to annoy him?
I don't know.
I think they imply it's his helping with Iron Man's armor at times, right?
Yeah, probably. He's helping with like Iron Man's tech or something like that. They're using him for inventions and things like that. So
because Iron Man is playing with his red arm, with his armored arm.
Yeah, exactly. So he's got like part of his Iron Man suit to play the game. So he's like, all right, Forge, you can't play with us, but you can at least watch while you're in custody. And then Betty storms in and like confronts them about like them knowing that Bruce is still alive. And Tony's playing coy. Steve is not saying anything, but Tony's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then Betty's like, yeah, he should get amnesty. And I'm like, hold on, what? You want Bruce Banner to get amnesty for his crimes?
If you get the death penalty and you survive the death penalty, you traditionally get amnesty, is the idea. If I hang you for being a murderer and you survive your hanging somehow, you typically get amnesty. Same with the lethal injection. If you get lethally injected and you survive, you theoretically are supposed to get amnesty, unless you live in Wyoming.
They're like, high five, you survived. You get full amnesty now, because good job, you didn't die.
Well, the thing is,
we tried to kill you and we can't do it again.
Kind of, because it's horrible trying to kill someone, and the idea is you got your punishment. You got tortured for like a minute or an hour. So just live.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you've done your time, really. You got blown up by a nuke, so you're fine. Go on living your murderous, cannibalistic lifestyle.
If a cannibal got lethally injected and survived, and the governor goes, okay, you get to live, because we're not going to inject you again. Why is the Hulk legally different?
You know, just a mass murdering, rapey, like cannibalistic monster. But that's fine.
But the same deal with the guy we just lethally injected. He is also a mass murderer, rapey monster. Why do we let him live after he survived a torturous lethal injection?
I don't know. The system's fucked. But Iron Man is then joking with Betty about, yeah, so maybe we should register the Hulk, you know, just like use him like whenever we need him for missions and stuff. And I'm like, so you're literally just referencing the premise of Civil War and like registration. And Civil War, which had come out a couple of years prior to this, which is really funny.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is then like Steve is like saying, oh, that's a good idea. And Tony's like, that's a terrible idea, which is hilarious that they're like taking opposite sides from what they did in the main universe, where Steve was anti-registration and Tony was pro-reg. I'm like, that's actually hilarious. I'm pretty sure that was intentional, but I can't definitely. 100% know.
And Tony says, Betty, you just don't get it because you don't know what it's like to have a tremendous amount of power. Because with a tremendous amount of power comes a tremendous amount of responsibilities.
Yeah, exactly. And so she's like, all right, whatever. Later we cut to Jen experimenting on a mouse, like injecting him with the serum that Bruce got, but an altered version so he can control it. And Betty's like, what are you doing? And we see this mouse hulk out and like become a giant gamma monster. And what's really crazy is in this panel, in this splash page, when the mouse hulks out, we see for some reason Jen's clothes just pop off. Like her shirt just like unbuttons and you can see her bra. And you're like, what the fuck? And also then the next panel, you cut to it and her clothes are back on again. And I was like, that was so unnecessary and gratuitous.
The artist was horny, I guess, for this series.
Excuse me, Lenial Francis Yu, what are you doing? Like, that was crazy. That was an insane scene. I'm like, wow.
The mouse is super strong and big, but it's like safe. It's like a normal mouse. So yeah. So Betty goes to Fury goes, I'm here to interrupt your bang bang session. Fury goes, if I was in a bang bang session, I wouldn't be here, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like is everyone just horny?
Yeah, I think that's it. The Ultimate Universe in the 2000s was full of like horn dogs and innuendo around horniness, apparently.
Yeah. And Betty goes, Jen's a traitor. You gotta arrest her.
Yeah, she's like, Jen's gonna sell the super soldier serum to the Chinese. You have to like stake her out and take her down. And I'm like, okay, that came out of nowhere, but sure.
Yeah. I honestly had to reread it. I was like, I don't remember this. Like, this just happened.
Well, there's a reason why this came out of nowhere, and Fury should be suspicious about this, because at first he's like, what? No way. And she's like, no, I'm serious. She's a traitor. And then we cut to another gratuitous scene of Betty, like, naked in front of the mirror. Like,
brushing her hair.
I don't know why she's naked, brushing her hair in front of the mirror. But anyways, she calls S.H.I.E.L.D. and she asks for a jet. And they're like, you need Fury's authorization. And she literally just plays a recording of Nick Fury into the phone saying she has full access.
And they're buff to bet while Fury and his men go look for Jen.
Yeah, they do a whole sting operation on Jen. They confront her. They like take everyone down, and it's hilarious.
And she is doing a crime, technically.
She is doing something illegal. She has a meeting with Chinese people so she can get a bootleg copy of the 2009 J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie because it hasn't come out in the US yet. And I'm like, that's hilarious that they chose such a timely reference. She's
Do
a
you,
Trekkie.
do you remember those ads from the 2000s where they go like, it's like, the police will show up if you steal a car. What happens if you steal a DVD? And I'm like, I guess
Yeah.
Shield comes after you if you steal a
Shield is
DVD.
anti-piracy. They're like, none of this happening. Not in my house. Nick Fury's gonna crack down on you.
And
So
Fury though does realize, oh, I've been played by a
yeah, so
Betty.
he calls the pilot and he's like, you gotta turn around and you gotta like get Betty under control. But it's too late because that Betty injects herself right in the butt, mind you, for whatever reason, with the Hulk formula.
A lot of injections, you do it through the butt. It's there's two reasons. One, it's a lot fleshier, so it's easier to find certain veins there.
Mm-hmm.
Second is if you want to get drunk or high, it's faster through the butt, much faster.
Well, there you go. She hulked out right in the butt.
Yeah.
And this transformation is also weirdly
Oh
sexual
yeah.
because
She's like
throughout
moaning.
this, yeah, she's moaning. She's going, oh, yeah, that's it. And then afterwards, she asks, was that as good for you as it was for me? And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Like, I feel like a prude now for reacting this way, but still, this is a lot.
She jumps out while they blast her with bullets, which doesn't work because she's now a Hulk.
Yeah, so now she arrives to rescue the Hulk, and we find out She-Hulk is not Jennifer Walters here, it's Betty Ross,
Yeah.
which is quite the twist from what I was expecting. And so it was an interesting twist on like what, longtime readers already know from the main universe. And the Hulk is pissed off at her and he's like, Betty betrayed Hulk and now Hulk is gonna break you. So the issue ends with like, oh shit, there's gonna be a big like 3-way fight between Hulk, Wolverine, and She-Hulk.
Not really, because Wolverine's missing his legs still, but you
Right.
know.
He's just like on the ground, like his top half, but he's there.
Yeah.
He's just hanging out watching the fight.
The next chapter starts with Wolverine, and he's talking to a panda.
Yeah, this issue is also wild. Issue 5 feels like a Wes Anderson movie or something like that because it's broken up into like 5 different chapters and it feels very strangely like artsy and experimental in how it's done.
Talking of Wes Anderson and horn dogs, I had a roommate whose little brother always dressed as Wes Anderson.
Just in general? I thought you were going to say for Halloween.
No, just in general. He was an odd duck, and one day everyone found a bunch of condoms in his bed.
Wow. Horn dog, huh?
I know, and he also put his dog on a vegetarian diet.
Wow, okay. Any reason for that?
He thought he was a vegetarian, so he thought the dog should also be vegetarian, which apparently no one agrees with because, it's a dog.
Yeah, you can't just enforce that on your pet. Jesus.
Dogs can, if you do it well, live on a vegetarian diet. They just won't be happy because they're a dog.
Like, why are you going to make your dog miserable? That seems cruel and unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, look at some crazy vegetarian websites. They recommend putting your cat on a vegetarian diet. I don't even know if that's possible.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
But anyways, this first chapter of this issue is so wild and surreal. This is Wolverine standing naked in a field and he's approached by a panda.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I did not expect this. I didn't even I heard about the harem. I heard about Wolverine being ripped in half by the Hulk. I did not know about the panda just confronting Wolverine. And Wolverine's like, hey, how's it going? And Panda's like, not bad. How you doing? And the panda confronts him and is like, I'm your spirit animal, which is like, that's not really something you say in this day and age.
Yeah.
That's kind of problematic. I feel like that's pretty offensive now and appropriative, but
yeah. And Wolverine goes, I thought my spirit animal would be a Wolverine. And he goes like, what? Why? Because you chose that as your name? That's not how it works.
Yeah.
I'm your spirit animal. I'm a panda.
He's like, you think Wolverines would be anyone's spirit animal? Like, they don't do shit, man. They're just hanging out. Like, you're really just a panda.
According to the movies, so many of the Wolverine movies didn't realize Wolverines were an animal, so they just made him a wolf.
Yeah. Well, Hugh Jackman was not aware that Wolverines were a real animal until they had to break the news to him. But yeah, then Logan calls the panda like cuddly. He's like, you're too cuddly to be my spirit animal. And the panda doesn't like that. So he eggs it on. And so there's like a whole double page spread of the two of them just fighting of like Wolverine versus the panda.
And it bites him and he screams. And I'm like, yeah. Did you hear the news a panda killed someone like a few weeks ago?
Damn, no, I didn't hear that.
Some random farmer just bit his leg off.
Dang. Ugh, pandas can be very vicious, so I totally understand how that could be Logan's spirit animal, I guess, if that's the term we're using. But then, yeah, then the panda tells Wolverine he's dreaming, and when he's like, when you wake up, don't talk about the woman. It's between you and Banner. Just remember that. Don't mention the woman. And so the next chapter is Wolverine waking up in a prison compound with Nick Fury, and it's like the chapter like where Logan loses his head. And so it's just Wolverine's head that's been removed from his body, and Nick Fury's like, yeah, your rest of your body's being held in an undisclosed location.
Your lungs are 7 floors up.
Yeah, he's talking about how, like, we put your head in a depressurized room with no oxygen and you still didn't die, and you're breathing right now because you're just breathing through your skin. And I think this is very different from the main universe Wolverine once again, because 616 Logan notoriously, like, if he's decapitated, he'll die. Like, they've said that several times. So this Wolverine can take all kinds of damage.
Didn't they say he could die if he drowns too? In
Yeah, that's right.
616?
Yeah. I don't know if Ultimate Wolverine can, but I know main universe Wolverine can die if he drowns.
Yeah.
But Fury's going through some like creepy like research tactics here, just experimenting on Wolverine's body and like his head and what he can
While
take
you're
and what
at
he
it,
can't.
he is a Weapon X thing, you know?
Yeah, this is very on brand for Fury, and he's got the ultimate weapon to experiment with, so I guess why not?
Yeah. And Fury's also just asking him, saying, like, we'll reattach you, but, like, I want to know what happened. And Wolverine goes, I passed out.
Yeah, he's asking about Betty, and Logan's like, I don't remember. I blacked out. I just remember the Hulk, and I remember a nuke that you dropped on me.
Yeah. And he asked him how to feel. And I was like, hot, man. What do you expect?
Yeah. I was bathed in sunlight. And Fury wants to know what the Hulk and Betty said to each other right before the nuke went off. And Logan's like, again, I blacked out. I don't know what to tell you. So he's doing what the panda said. And then Fury just shoots Logan in the head. So he passes out again. And then we flash back to the fight between Hulk and She-Hulk, where Hulk throws Betty. And then they start fighting, or like Wolverine's like, I couldn't tell if they were fighting or screwing. Like, it's hard to tell because she just gets on top of the Hulk and they do start ripping each other's clothes off. So I'm like, are the Hulks just going at it here? Are they going to start getting it on?
Well, why not? They're Banner and Betty are horrible people who have a toxic relationship. And you know what they say? The thing with these toxic relationships is that, like, the sex apparently is really good because they're fighting all the time. And sex is just an extension of fighting.
Well, they deserve each other. I'll be so real. Ultimate Hulk and Ultimate Betty.
I don't want them to be together because I don't want them to create more Hulks. Like in Old Man Logan.
Yeah, let's not even.
Yeah.
Ugh. Where She-Hulk is his cousin and there's Sweet Home Alabama going on. Yeah.
Yeah. But in this case, I'm like, well, we get rid of the incest thing, but I still don't want this to happen.
No, yeah. That would be no good. Little Hulk children in this universe, that would be very
Raised by
bad.
Betty and Banner.
Yeah, that's rough.
But who knows? Maybe children will save the relationship.
That is notorious for never happening.
That's notorious for sometimes happening.
For the most part, that's just a myth. But then the nuke fires and the Hulk jumps at it, and Betty yells, I still love you. And Hulk yells something back, but we don't learn what it is till later.
Because Logan passed out.
Yeah. And Wolverine wakes up after being shot in the head by Fury. He wakes up in a prison compound, but his head's back on his body, so at least he's got that going for him. And then the craziest thing happens is that Forge emerges from the toilet in the cell. His head just pops out of this toilet, and he's like, what? And Forge is like,
I have a tuning fork.
I've got this special tuning fork I created that lets me phase through stuff, so I just phased up through the pipes or whatever. And so Wolverine gets Forge to help him escape through the sewers, and they make it to like Greenwich Village
in New York.
And Forge is like, well, I guess we'll be parting ways. And Logan's like, nope, you're gonna make something for me.
And he makes some inhibitor collars, interestingly enough.
Yeah. Like, Forge takes him to his new hideout and builds these collars for him. And Wolverine's like, what happens if someone tries to rip this collar off? And Forge is like, well, unless someone can lift the moon, like, you can't get it off. And it's like, this could be tough.
Wolverine goes, I don't think he can, but you never know with this guy. And Forge's like, who are you making this for, man?
I'm like, listen, you know who it's for at this point. Like, it's the Hulk himself.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I want one for a woman too. And Forge is like, oh, kinky.
Horn dogs.
Yeah, that's very horn doggy, for sure.
Yeah, wearing the same thing as your partner is like. I don't know why people do it.
Matching outfits.
No, just have matching colors like a regular person.
Matching colors, that's a good idea.
Thank you. Don't do matching outfits. That's weird.
Yeah, you don't want to look like twins. That's even creepier.
Or brother and sister.
Oh yeah, no, that would
Yeah,
not be a
yeah.
good look.
We thought the cousin thing was bad.
Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch is coming to mind.
Yeah. Or Old Man Hulk and Old Man Jen.
Eesh, yeah, yikes. So then Forge is like, so where's this going to be so I can get as far away as possible? And Wolverine says they're going to be in Casablanca because Hulk told Betty to meet him there. And now, while he's saying that, Fury has eyes and ears everywhere, so he's watching and listening to him say this.
I bet he told Forge to break Logan out.
That could be. Yeah, I don't think that we got anything confirmed, but I believe that.
Yeah.
The last issue opens, issue 6 opens on Wolverine thinking about how he goes through like airport security with an adamantium skeleton. And he's like, well, first of all, I take a private jet, so people don't need to worry about that. Second of all, in this case, now that I am taking airport security, this one time, you see him like sneak a grenade onto the guy in front of him as a distraction. So airport security just gets on this guy's ass and starts tackling him into the ground. And like poor like random guy that he just threw a grenade on. And so you just see Wolverine just hopping over the metal detector and the distraction, and he's just like, yeah, when they find out it's made of soap, I'm sure they'll probably let him go.
Isn't there a thing where like they do know if your bones are metal, because there are people with real metal bones that go through them those airports all the time?
Yeah, and they get an exemption. We even see that in one of the Wolverine movies, like at the end of the Wolverine in the post-credits scene, he takes a pat down instead of the metal detector because like metal bones. So
yeah.
But in Hong Kong then, Betty, also once again naked, emerging from the shower, and she was listening to Kanye and singing along, which is like, oof, now that hasn't aged well.
We didn't know. To be fair, Kanye wasn't crazy back then because he was on his meds.
Yeah, he was big back then, so I'll give her the pass this time.
Yeah. Also, he was humble back then.
Yes. Back in 2009, which I can't imagine. I can't believe was like 17 years ago, but anyways.
Do you remember that song?
I remember that song, yeah.
American boy, American boy. Logan shows up and Betty hulks out naked.
Yeah, because first Logan's like, put on this necklace, and she's like, that's not a necklace. And he's like, I'll kill Bruce. And Betty again makes another good point that like, maybe you're just jealous of Bruce because he's found some peace and you didn't. Like, again, questioning like, why do you want to kill him so badly? You barely know him.
And also, Bruce has love. You don't.
Yeah, and I like what this series does, pointing out like the similarities and the parallels there. It's kind of like that moment in like the original Infinity Gauntlet storyline when the two of them are talking and like Hulk's like, yeah, you know, I like you, Shorty, is what he calls him. And he's just like, yeah, because in our own way, we're both monsters. And I'm like, you know, that's a very good way of putting it. It's like a really beautiful moment between the two of them, just like hanging out in the snow outside away from everyone else. Anyways.
She hulks out naked and she beats the crap out of him. They smash through a bunch of other apartments where we see weirdly more naked people, including other people banging, which seems to be the theme of Ultimate whenever you're smashing through apartments, that you're going to bump into someone banging because Kitty bumped into people banging.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But then Wolverine like says like, hey, I punctured 2 of your organs. You're on top of me. I punctured 2 of your organs, and my third claw is going to puncture a third organ. And I'm like, well, yeah, I get that, but would that still work against She-Hulk? Realistically, no, right?
Maybe. I don't know. He's got a good point. I mean, if his claws can like pierce her organs, it might work, yeah. But she's also like, when she tackled him, like gouged out one of his eyes with her thumb. So like they're both in a pretty bad position. Like he's got like 2 out of 3 of his claws and like vital organs, and the third one could kill her. So this is like a checkmate, I feel like, moment where she has to do what he says and like power down and put on the collar. And so she's like, please don't kill Bruce. And he's like, too bad. Like, I'm gonna do it.
And they reveal that they separated specifically so they can't go after both of them at the same time, which Wolverine somehow still does. So
yeah, because he manages to meet Banner because Banner's taking a plane from Vietnam to Casablanca. And Wolverine manages to make it onto that flight and confront Banner and like sit next to him and like put the collar on him. And Logan's wearing an eye patch because obviously one of his eyes is still growing back. But it's a fun little Easter egg too, because that's a reference to like his patch identity when he like goes to Madripoor and like wears an eye patch and pretends like he's someone else, even though everyone's like, that's clearly just you, Wolverine, but whatever.
Have you seen the movie Casablanca?
Yes, yeah, it's a classic.
I have not, but I was gonna say I do know planes are in it, and they're in like a gambling place, right?
Yeah, exactly. The main character like owns a bar and everything, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff about like old lovers and a past and the war and stuff like that. So I can see some similarities with this series.
Yeah, and Wolverine threatens to kill Bruce Ball. He also says, "I'm gonna wait till you're Hulk until I kill you." Because I want to kill the Hulk.
Because apparently, if Banner changes into the Hulk while wearing this collar, apparently the collar will choke him to death. Because, like, as he grows, like, the collar's not gonna break or anything, so it's gonna kill him.
But then we don't know if that's true because Forge said it can be broken if you could lift a moon. And
yeah, so like it probably would break. I'll be honest, but
yeah. And what are you gonna do?
Yeah, like what are you gonna do then? We never find out what would happen, but Banner's like, why are you doing this? Like, I'm a good person. And I'm like, no, you're not. I read the Ultimates. No, you're not.
I'll say this: he might be a better person than Wolverine. Because he doesn't diddle kids. He doesn't diddle kids.
Yeah, but I feel like he would. I'll be so real.
He eats children. He doesn't rape them.
Listen, man, not as far as we know. I'm just, yeah, he's innocent till proven guilty. Whatever.
Thank you. He's a cannibal, not a rapist.
He is kind of rapey, though.
But he hasn't raped. He is just rapey.
Yes, there's a difference, I guess, even though it's not a big one.
Yeah.
But Logan is like, well, too bad if you think you're a good person, I'm a bad one. And Banner makes an interesting gamble. I'm like, maybe you're not as bad as you think. And he jumps out of the plane and Wolverine jumps after him. He's like, where do you think you're going? And Banner makes a gamble. He's like, you're not going to let me die as Banner. You want me to die as the Hulk. So what you have to do here, if you want me to die as the Hulk, is like you have to take the collar off so I can turn into the Hulk and survive. So you, in order to save me, you also have to save the Hulk. And I'm like, ooh, he's really got him in a tough position here.
Yeah.
He's like, do you want me to die with the Hulk, or do you want to kill the Hulk? And in order to do that, you have to save me and him, which sucks.
I honestly think like Ultimate Wolverine does save him, but I'm like, there's no guarantee he would have saved him. This is a guy who was explicitly okay with killing a kid or two. So
yeah, and leaving Cyclops to die on the Savage Land.
Yeah, but Fury's waiting for him, and Fury on a horse, and Fury's like, "I like the look. You stole my look."
It's really funny because Fury's just waiting there in the desert as they crash land, and also when he sees Hulk and Wolverine, Hulk is holding Wolverine so gently, he's like cradling him in his arms, which I think is hilarious. That's such a funny panel.
And I love how Fury asks, like, "You stole my look." It's like, "I thought it grows back," and Wolverine says the truth. He says, well, eyes are complicated. It takes a while to grow back.
Yeah, it's not going to grow back instantaneously. I mean, in some comics, it feels like it does, because we've seen, like, Wolverine in the comics, like, grow back from just his skeleton.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like in the comics when they say, like, it takes some time to grow some things back. His healing power is not that strong. It's good, but, like, it's going to take some time for, like, an eye to grow back, for example.
I believe Deadpool has a stronger healing factor, the two of them, right?
Yeah, I think so. Because, like, he can get decapitated and be fine. He can grow back from maybe just his head. He can grow, like, his legs back, things like that. So,
yeah.
But Fury's like, yeah, listen, I'm not here, like, to hurt either one of you guys. Here's what I wanted to say. Hulk, like, we've got Betty in custody, thanks to Wolverine. And so he, like, blackmails Hulk into working for S.H.I.E.L.D. again. He's like, yeah, because we got your girl in custody, so you might want to do what I say. And he's like, Logan, you're on my shit list. And Logan's like, hey, I'm a mutant. I'm on everyone's shit list. Like, this is old news.
Yeah. And Fury goes like, point taken, and he rides off in the sunset on his horse.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, see you, Fury, you piece of shit.
Well, how shitty can he be if he's riding a horse?
Yeah. Only good guys ride horses.
Exactly. John Wayne.
John Wayne. I mean, in real life, John Wayne was not such a good guy. I'm gonna hate to break it to you.
Okay. Genghis Khan, as played by John Wayne.
That's even worse. What do you mean?
Well, John Wayne played him in a movie, so...
So he can't be all bad.
Did you know in that movie, like, most of the cast got cancer because they filmed on a Superfund site?
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah, and most of the people who got the cancer died from the cancer.
Yikes, yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, no one talks about it. They just talk about the yellow face.
Yeah, I mean, that's really bad, too.
Yeah. Who else rides horses?
I don't like a lot of bad people have ridden horses
Name
throughout
three.
history, Josh.
Name three fictional
Three
people.
people,
Three
fictional
bad
people?
fictional people who will ride horses. Bad people who are fictional ride horses.
Three bad fictional people who ride horses.
Exactly. You're having difficulty already.
I'm having difficulty thinking of anyone who rides horses. I don't know. There's a lot of Disney villains that ride horses that are bad. Anyways, like all the evil white men in Pocahontas.
Do they ride horses in that movie?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, we're getting off track here.
Yeah.
So Nick Fury leaves and Logan's like, hey, can you like jump me to the nearest town? And Hulk's like, yeah, sure. They kind of end pretty chill with each other, honestly.
Yeah.
Hulk is like, hey, maybe Wolverine, you should talk to someone about that anger of yours. And Wolverine's like, fuck you, Banner. But they're kind of like, they're not trying to kill each other anymore, at least. They're just kind of bantering back and forth and just, they're fine with each other.
Because they're in the same position in the end. They're not free. They're like hunted or trapped by S.H.I.E.L.D. It kind of makes it seem like S.H.I.E.L.D.'s the real villain of the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, S.H.I.E.L.D. might be. I mean, Hulk is pretty awful too, I'll be real. Yeah. But like, yeah, S.H.I.E.L.D. has been pitting these two against each other. So Fury is kind of a bad guy in this, and S.H.I.E.L.D. in general in this miniseries feels like they're bad guys.
Yeah.
But it's kind of this Casablanca like ending because it's like the two of them walking off into the sunset. Of course, they don't say this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, but still, I got those vibes.
Is that the ending of Casablanca?
Yeah, that's like one of the maybe the most famous ending line to a movie ever. It's like, Louis, this looks like the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Or this could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Well, I didn't go to film school, so, I didn't know that.
I didn't either for the last time, Josh.
If you YouTube or
I went to a
Google
liberal arts school and studied publishing. I did not go to film school.
I also went to a liberal arts school, but if you look up your school, it says film school.
It's a liberal arts college, Emerson College. It's not a film school. There are film students and film majors, but anyways, any final thoughts, Josh, on these issues?
I believe I said my thoughts on this one. It's there's not much to say. It's a fun comic, but you could tell it's Ultimate, unfortunately. Like the things that make it different from any other Wolverine versus Hulk comic is that it's Ultimate, and you could tell it's really obvious. It's unfortunate. Not that Ultimate is necessarily bad, but in this case, the Ultimate stuff is
yeah, you could tell there's a lot of stuff, especially with like how like some of the cultural references and like how the sexualization of women and some of the Orientalist things at the beginning. It is pretty of its time in the 2000s. But yeah, it is pretty classic Hulk versus Wolverine too, exploring the parallels of two like men who have lived a life full of pain and anger, facing off against each other. But they're like, I think it takes a lot of fun, creative choices. Like each issue feels a little different, a little experimental, which is fun. I think Betty as She-Hulk was an interesting twist and subversion of expectations, although as much as I love Jen Walters as She-Hulk, and I love She-Hulk in general, but it was pretty fun. The artwork is stunning, once again, despite some of the over-sexualization of women.
And I will say, making Betty Ross the whole She-Hulk allows you to do the Hulk/She-Hulk pairing in a way you're not supposed to. Because I was going to say you can't, like Hulk and She-Hulk, but people have, so.
Yeah, looking at you, Mark Millar. Looking right at you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for these issues. Next time, we are going to get back to the Ultimates 2, actually.
So, interesting.
Next thing on our reading order is like the last half of the Ultimates 2, so issues 7 through 13. We might split that into a couple of parts. But yeah, it's going to be very exciting stuff. I can't wait. But until next time, Josh, where can our listeners get in touch with us?
Ultimate Comics Podcast at gmail.com. That's comics plural, podcast singular. Ultimate Comics Podcast at gmail.com.
That's right. Write into us just talking about our podcast, the comics we read, comics in general, any questions or suggestions or ideas you may have. You can also reach out to us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Ultimate Comics Podcast. So until next time, everyone, take care and make mine Ultimate Comics. Bye-bye.